Julio Arca this week. Julio Arca this week.
Probably in the top 3 players I played with.
Come over from Argentina at what, 18? 18-year-old, Sunderland, Middlesbrough. Where else?
South Shields.
Hasn't spent much time in Barnsley because I couldn't think he could understand a fucking word that I said. He just used to go and smile and laugh. So language barrier, I think, a little bit on this one.
Our first South American guest though, so that's good.
So yeah, Julio Arca. Oh no.
Hey, get your finger at me, Paul!
You alright?
Imagine if he goes through the roof here.
I've done this the right way. Oh my god.
The knees on the shoulder.
At one point I thought he's dead here.
Broken back minimum. So, worst part, we get a fistful of arse.
Oh, honestly, that is killed.
You got a starting point for us, or do you want? I mean, there's one.
I think we've got to start at the
Pissing.
jellyfish.
Oh, it's been told that story here before.
I think, yeah.
Yeah, someone.
Were you there? Were you there for the jellyfish?
I was there for the weigh-in.
Was you? Were you on the oars? where were the sting?
So we went on pre-season to America with Sunderland, and at that time it was a lot going on with the ice bath. Yeah, so obviously a lot of people over there are using ice bath to recover stuff like that. So after a couple of weeks, we came back. In our training ground, we didn't have 10, 15 ice baths like we have in America. So the manager decided to take everyone to the sea. Obviously, being in the sea, it's like having an ice bath over there. The water is pretty cold. So we went there thinking, okay, we're just gonna go for a run, stretch, stuff like that, just for a change. And Mick asked us like, well, no, we're just gonna get in the water. So I was thinking, okay, cloudy, windy, cold. So we go in the water. I remember seeing Mick swimming around us like he was in the Caribbean. Yeah.
Circling, like a shark.
Yeah, I saw him like swimming, so getting deeper. And then he started asking everyone to more or less getting deeper in the sea. And I remember like walking towards where he was, and I saw this black stuff in the water. I kind of put my arm just to see what it was. And when I put my arm out, I have these legs all over me. Yeah, my chest, my arm, part of my legs. And obviously it was a massive jellyfish. Looked like an octopus in there, to be honest. So I went from being cold to being bloody hot.
Feel the sting straight away?
My skin was burning badly. So I didn't want to come out of the water, but I knew that, I've been told when that happened, you get someone need to pee on you. Basically. So the first thing that crossed my mind, so I'm going to ask one of the lads to should do me there outside.
Do me.
Yeah, basically, yeah. And I remember coming out of the water.
Are you screaming?
I was in pain.
Yeah.
It was just starting, I wasn't feeling well. And I asked probably 2-3 of the lads, and they said, no, just let's go back to the training ground. I said, no, you need to do it now, because the sooner you do it, the better. And no one wants to piss on me.
See, I'd have been like, yeah, I'm doing you a favour.
Honestly.
We'd have been queuing up if you'd have asked.
We ended up going back to the training ground. So I got there, I put some ice on me, tried to feel this heat on my skin a bit less. And then I remember some of the lights pissing at pot. And I went in the bath and they just throw, I didn't want to know, So they throw all this pot of pee on me on the bath. The stinks, honestly.
No, I do. Yellow. Did a good night.
I'm trying to remember, and it wasn't pretty.
So have you all pissed in a bucket and thought, well, just...
Yeah. I saw that
Was
was
there a
going to make me-
cocktail? Not just one.
Oh, it was a mixed bag.
So you're not stood round Julio like cock
No,
out?
Oh, it went straight from the
I
horse.
didn't see it. It wasn't a queue. Put it that way, it wasn't a queue. I still thought that would make me feel bad, but it didn't.
And you just dumped a piss.
After that, the club have to call an ambulance.
Yeah.
So I went from being like all funny and people laughing around, and then I could not feel my legs. My legs would drop, and then it started like my throat was more or less closing down. I could not
Swelling.
breathe properly. Yeah. So that's when everyone started being concerned, and they got an ambulance. Bloody spent one night in intensive care,
Really?
morphine and stuff like that. I go in the hospital. The nurse didn't believe me. I said, "What's going on with you?" I said, "I got stung by a jellyfish. I'm in terrible pain, so I need something." So she didn't believe me. So then the doctor came. I explained the same thing. I said, "I'm in pain here. I need something." So they give me morphine. I think it was. He said, "After a couple hours, you'll be all right." 2-3 hours went past. I said, I'm in pain, man. I need something else. So they have to give me something else. And then after 5-6 hours, I start feeling bad. But I tell you now, it was funny for them, but not for me.
They're
Not
probably
for
just
me.
thinking, them footballers are funnies. It's only a jellyfish.
Oh, it was.
We did some Googling on the way down about and apparently urban myth.
I remember
Piss
the
makes no
jellyfish,
difference.
it was called Man of War or something like that. That was a big one. I remember like when I put my
They were
arm
just
up the
like
one.
in like Pacific and all that, them man of wars.
I don't know where they go, but that was.
Must have been lost.
Oh, I don't know what
He
happened
heard you
there.
talking of
Yeah.
back home.
You started the week after though, didn't you? But you had to come off. So
So that
must have
happened.
been
I think
struggling.
happened on a Monday, Tuesday. Play on Saturday, but all the stuff that obviously they put on my body, I had to come off for halftime. 45 minutes, I was sick in the toilet. So the manager said, "Look, just take you out." And
Thing
then,
is, with Mick, he's one of them that wouldn't ask you to do something that he wouldn't do himself. So when he said, "Let's get in the sea," all the lads were like, "Oh, come on!" And before he's even said it, the hoggers are off.
Yeah.
He's in.
Junks on.
So we're like, "Oh, we've got
Gotta
to."
do now.
and he was
easy.
swimming.
Yeah.
He wasn't just like standing there. He was swimming
come on,
there.
lads.
Washing himself, you know what?
The thing is, Mick could have probably just like bashed it away. Guys. It's only a man of war. Get out of here.
It's just typical, man.
I remember Mick coming to the hospital the day after, and you know what Mick was like, all serious and stuff like that. And he came, "Julio, I need to apologize. I promise it never happen again." And I never went back to the sea after that. I felt guilty, I think. Obviously, it was an accident, But no, we definitely never went back to the sea after that.
How long have you been over here now?
It's more or less like over 20 years. So I spent more or less half of my life here in the Northeast.
Converted to the Northeast.
Yeah,
I was in the
yeah.
youth team at Sunderland when he signed, and it was just a big media reaction. Young lad coming over from Argentina. I remember your debut.
Yeah,
Was it West Ham?
West Ham at home.
West Ham at home.
Yeah.
What a start.
Obviously, the club paid at that time quite a bit of money for me for someone that no one knew. To be honest,
3.5 was it?
3.5 for I was left back over there for a left back as well. As soon as I arrived here, first week I found out the left back is a captain, so I said, my chances here, it's gonna be hard to play there. And then I remember Peter Reid having a conversation with me, obviously with a translator, and he told me, "You're gonna play left wing after being here for less than 2 weeks." And 2 weeks after I got my debut, West Ham at home, and I scored there. So could last for a better start than that, to be honest.
1-0 win.
And then I carry on playing more or less all season.
There was talking about reactions. There was like a buzz when you signed, and there was a similar buzz when Milton Nunes signed. But I think he signed the wrong player. I don't know the full story, but
But it's shit.
There was talk of him just signing them on clips that he'd seen or something.
Right, best of.
It was a weird. Can you remember? Do you know more about it?
I remember I heard that rumor before. Obviously, I never got the chance to speak with Peter Reid about it. And even if you speak with him, if he made a mistake, I don't think he'll tell you that. But yeah, I remember hearing that he went from one player that had the same surname, and then
He got his brother.
I don't know. Yeah,
Because I was at the reserve game and he made his debut. Milton. He played his first game and he was rapid. He was just small, wasn't he?
To be honest, he was. I mean, people like saying, "Oh, he was this and that." You know, I trained with him, and he was sharp. Obviously, he wasn't the biggest, but he could head the ball.
Yeah.
He have a
Was that his best foot, though,
for being a small lad.
small as well.
I mean, you see some big lads, some they can't even jump. You know, he was all right. He didn't play much. He was here for a year, I think, in and out, in the bench. But he was a good lad. He helped me quite a lot, to be honest, because it was him and Emerson Tom, the only players that could speak Spanish. Obviously, I didn't speak any English at all, so I struggled to understand the lads.
Yeah. So talk about that move, because were you 18?
I was 18, going 19, yeah.
So how did the move come about?
I just made my debut 6 months before I came to London with the national team to play against England on the 21s. So we play against them. I think it was in Fulham Stadium, and Peter Reid was there. That's what I've been told. Or some Sunderland people was there. They saw me playing there. We have a good game. I have a good game. And then they follow me for the next 6 months. And then at the end of the season in Argentina, the offer arrived. I remember my agent calling me saying, "Look, we got this team interested in you. From England, English League." At that time, we're talking about 2000. It wasn't as big as it's been for the last 15 years. The bigger leagues at that time was Italy and Spain. So told me about Sunderland. To be honest, I didn't know much about Sunderland. And then he said, "Look, they want you now in the next couple of weeks." In my mind, the decision was already made because I always wanted to come to Europe. The hardest decision was the hardest thing was to tell my mom, and I'm gonna leave. My dad, being a footballer, didn't get to play, in the first team when he was there, but he understood more or less where I wanted to go with my career. So for him, it was fine. For my mom, obviously, losing your son for, probably a year, X amount of months till you see him again, it was hard.
And were you flying over in Argentina? Were you doing really well every week?
I was just comfortable playing left back. The style over there was different than the English, style. At that time, I remember 2000, it was more or less big lag, small lad on front, long ball, a lot of crosses, where now everything is playing from the back, and more like tactically and technically. So it was box-to-box, proper box-to-box English football at that time. So it was a big difference for me, playing left wing. You had to more or less do box-to-box. But I was 18, 19, so I was fit enough to do that.
And is that the target as a young South American? Is the ideal to, I want to get to Europe?
I think, the majority of, things change now. Argentinian football changed. The wages change as well. The economy for the players over there is a bit better than what it used to be, But I think for any South American young player, the dream is...
He's made it. He's making it.
It's a step forward in your career, if you know what I mean. To come to England, to Spain, to Italy, to Germany, now you have different options, And I wanted to compete against, the best players in the best leagues. And I remember the first game was West Ham. The second game was Manchester United away. So I remember playing against Beckham and Giggs and, all these players that a couple of months ago I was playing with them in the PlayStation, if you know what I mean. I remember the nights before the games over there in Argentina, because in Argentina, every team, no matter if you play at home or away, you always stay in the hotel, where here in England is you only stay away, you only stay in the hotel when you're playing away. So obviously the Friday nights over there are always in the PlayStation. I'm playing obviously with English team and stuff like that, and then a few months after, I seen Bex next to me. Obviously, he right wing, I'm left wing. So it was a big shock. But
Whirlwind.
It was great,
Were you flown in to come and see the area and everything before you signed it, or like you said, you'd already made the decision?
Yeah, they asked me to come over for a couple of weeks.
Big cultural difference.
Oh, it was, yeah. The place. That's the reason why I'm still here. I like the place, They show me the stadium, fantastic stadium, 48,000 there, beautiful stadium. training ground, Charlie Hurley. Remember that was probably an old training ground, but then we moved to the new one. But yeah, the culture of everything shooting at 5 o'clock, the times where restaurants shoot a bit early. In Argentina, you could probably go and eat 10 o'clock night time. Cafes and shopping will be open till late. So I had to get used to that routine, do everything early on during the day. And then just living on my own as well, because I was staying in for a few weeks in a hotel, and then they put me in an apartment. And at that time, 2000, it didn't have Sky, YouTube, Wi-Fi, all that. So I remember sitting at home with 6-7 English channels.
You're not getting to Coronation Street.
Yeah, it was hard. I didn't know what to do till I got my PlayStation and then got a couple other things. And I remember watching TV, trying to learn the language with a dictionary in front of me. So I have the subtitles, and every word I could pick up on the TV, I will try to read on the dictionary just to start picking words up, because obviously I didn't speak any English at all. So to be in the changing room, trying to understand what the manager was saying. It was hard.
You've got a mix there as well, Peter Reid.
Oh, yeah.
Bobby Saxon.
Yeah. Bobby Saxton, Adrian Heath.
How long was it before you started thinking, you started understanding and following instructions and what have you?
It took me I would say a good year and a half, 2 years, to more or less being comfortable. Because the first 6 months, a year, more or less rely on the lads that speak Spanish. So I was more or less in a little group with them.
It's quite lonely, I imagine.
Oh, it was hard, yeah. I have few nights where I think I want to go back home, if I have to be honest. I remember a couple nights crying on the phone to my mom and dad, because I was only 18, 19, and just be here on my own.
Massive move, isn't it?
Yeah,
really, when you think about it.
It was hard, thinking now, going back now, it was hard, yeah. Where if that happened now to any South American player, it will be a lot easier. You can call your mom, you can FaceTime, you can, you have everything online for you. Where before we have to pay for international calls, because it wasn't WhatsApp, Facebook, and all the stuff. So even paying for international calls will cost you a fortune. So you will 5-10 minutes on the phone, and call you, next week or whatever.
You'd have been watching Spanish Netflix though, and then you wouldn't have been watching Emmerdale, and your English wouldn't be as good.
Yeah, it was just all English channels. So it probably helped me in a way, because it helped me to learn the language a bit quicker.
Yeah.
Did you ever use it to your advantage when you actually did understand and thought, I'm just going to pretend that I didn't? If you thought, somebody's just give me a fucking,
Well, yeah, I mean, during games, I could see Reedy and Bobby Saxton having a right go at me. And then my arms were
So the answer is yes, you did use it to your advantage.
I don't know what he's saying,
What about that changing room? Because if I remember, he used to like the team bonding sessions, didn't he, Reedy?
Yeah.
In was it Romano's he used to?
Yeah.
A lot of lads who enjoyed the South.
Yeah.
Like Mickey Gray and...
Did he try and drag you in, get involved with that?
I mean, I could not
culture.
Keep up with them, to be honest.
Is it an eye-opener?
It was, it was a drinking culture, at that time.
Was the one in Argentina?
What?
A drinking culture, or did people...
people drink over there.
Football
I don't know if it's as much as here. Things change now. You don't see many footballers drinking probably during the week. Even in the lower leagues, they're more or less looking after themselves. A lot. Where at that time, it was Tuesdays, probably afternoon. We'll go to Romano's and have, Romano's is a restaurant near the training ground, and they have a meal and few drinks, and some people used to go home early, some people used to stay a bit late, but they used to perform on Saturday.
A lot of the time the manager and his staff were there as well. And that wouldn't happen now.
You cannot complain when the lads perform.
Playing well.
So I don't think you could do that now.
That season's probably the best when you finish 7th.
I think, yeah. the season before I was here, they finished 7th. So it was 2 seasons in a row. Yeah, we were a strong team. We didn't get intimidated by any team. Chelsea, Arsenal, Man U. And I think every team that came to play against us at the Stadium of Light could feel the fans, how loud they were. I won't say they were scared to play against us, but it wasn't comfortable to play against us at the Stadium of Light. We could beat anyone, anywhere. I mean, I remember beating Chelsea, thinking 4-1, 4-2 away. Man U at home in a cup, doing well against Arsenal. We could finish probably higher. We should have qualified for UEFA. We dropped points against Everton last game and the game before, and then we kind of finished 7th, but we could have finished 6th, 5th.
You just kept it simple.
Yeah.
Because we had Niall Quinn up front.
I'm going to say, what's the team then? What's that team?
Mickey Gray, left back.
Who's in nets?
Then you have centre backs where like Shoddy Caddock or Emerson Tom or Stan Varga when he was there. Chris Makin, right back. Then Kevin Kilbine used to play on the right side, coming in. Then midfield, we have few options in there. I have Alex Ray, Gav McCann, Stephen Schwa. Remember Patrick Roy, French lad? Yeah.
Is it Eric? Eric Roy.
Eric Roy.
He was like a poor man Zidane.
Are we not all?
No, but like just the way he played, he was just unbelievable.
Looked good.
Yeah.
He just had the French swagger.
He could play probably at the football that he's playing now because he was very technically. It's not the quickest one, but technically very good. And then I used to play left wing, and then on front, obviously, the big duo, Quinny and Kevin Phillips. So they were really good.
Was there a big cultural difference in the approach to football when you got over here in terms of management style and like pre-season training? Was it similar to South America?
I saw pre-season was a bit easier here than South America.
Easier?
South American pre-season, they were hard.
Surprising that, isn't it?
Yeah.
I remember like doing like 2-3 weeks back in Argentina, like without using our boots, shoes, trainers, every day.
Run.
Go in the sun, running a lot in there. Then morning, afternoon, like properly pushing to the limits.
Yeah.
And then I came here expecting like to be really, really hard. Don't get me wrong, it was hard, but not as hard as it was back home.
What about management style? Because obviously you got Reedy, you got Bobby Saxton, they're a dish out of bollocking.
Oh yeah,
Was that similar as well? Would you
that's probably one of the things happened to me to have Reedy as my first manager because it was, a big character. It could be nice, but it could flip. And, and when you have a right other player, no one say anything, you think, they respect him.
Yeah.
And obviously, being a player, he knew what he was talking about. He wasn't just making things up.
Did you do some research? Like, who is Peter Reid? Because I imagine would you have had an idea?
I knew a little bit because he played against Argentina in 1986 when Maradona scored the hand of God and the other goal.
Did you ever take the piss? Like
I did, to be honest, a little bit.
Because I'm sure he just ghosted past Peter Reid, didn't he?
He go past. I remember Peter Reid, the first thing he said to me, he said, "Don't you dare speak about 1986.
Did you have a Maradona top on when he said
No,
that?
I never knew that. No, I never done that. But we have conversations about Maradona. To be honest, he always speak well about Maradona. He said like it was unreal, playing against him. They couldn't stop him. Now going back to Reedy, he was good. He helped me a lot. Him, Bobby Saxton, Adrian Heath. He could speak a bit Spanish as well, and he helped me a lot.
What do you think went wrong? That's next season when they finished 17th, I think it was. And I just remember, I think one day he didn't come in. I remember Adrian Heath took training, and the manager just said, "I need to stay away." I don't know what had happened. I think the team had lost a few games or whatever.
Yeah.
They might have got bit off Newcastle or something on the Saturday, and he just didn't come in. And that's when even us in the youth team were like, "Something's not right here."
Yeah, I think what happened, like Queenie was kind of in the end of his career. So obviously losing Niall Quinn, he was a big player.
And he tried to, if you remember, he tried to replace him with Lillian Lesland.
And Torre on the floor.
Flo as well, yeah.
Yeah, Torre on the floor. I think he was at Chelsea at that time, no? Or Rangers, I can't remember. And then we tried to replace Queenie with him because the size, the height, but they were two different players. And then we signed Lillian, and then Marcus Stewart as well. He came that season, Stewie. And I don't know if the manager didn't get what he wanted, and then I'm not sure what happened behind doors. And then obviously we start dropping, in the league positions. And then, I think it was a shock when he got sacked because he didn't expect really to get sacked, after what he done for the club. So I'm not sure what happened behind doors.
Because they were last minute, weren't they? Them two signings, Flo and Stewart were like, them deadline day almost feel like panic signings.
Yeah, they had targets that they've not got.
Maybe,
so right, we've got to get somebody.
That's though, wasn't it? Chelsea, that flow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it just didn't work, did it?
Yeah, it was good. People saying he's great when he coming off the bench because in Chelsea I don't think he was starting all the time. But in Sunderland, I don't think we got the best of him, to be honest.
Just where that Quinny used to play, it was always, when out the fullbacks, you hit Quinny on the diag, and that wasn't Andre Flo's game. So I just think there was a clash of styles.
Yeah.
He was a big lad. Styles, sorry.
But he wanted the ball more on his feet, while Quinny just put
it up.
Were they any good with his feet, Niall Quinn?
I think he was, yeah.
If he passed the ball, if he wrapped it into his feet, would he hold it up or would he?
He will do the basics right. Hold it up, pass it wide, get in the box, and then obviously he'll hold the ball well. He had that chemistry with Kevin Phillips. They understood well each other. Sometimes, you know what it's like. You can play with one player and the understanding is really, really good, and then you play with someone probably the same style, but there's no chemistry in there. So...
We had loads of people asking about Medina.
Nicolas, yeah.
Did he sign the year after?
Yes.
From the same club?
Same club, same
Argentina
country.
Juniors.
Yeah. Obviously, things work well for me.
Did you know him?
Yeah, we played together. He was a year younger than me, but we done all the youth more or less together. Then we played in the national team together on the 20s in Argentina. I think it was the wrong time for him to come over because, going back to the players we have, Stefan Schwar, Roy, Alex Ray, Gav McCann. He came to play as a centre midfield. English league, at that time, it was very physical. I wasn't the bigger one. I play on the side, more like a left wing, so I could get away.
Bit of protection.
But being on the middle, you have to be strong, physical. You're talking about play against Roy Keane, Vieira, and many others in there that you have to be strong. Nicolas was technically really, really good, but the physical side, he needed more time, like myself, when I go here, and he didn't really play much.
You got off, we spoke about your start. You started your first game, you scored the win in your first game, you were off and running.
Confident.
Medina was like, kind of signed as backup, so it was hard for him to
get going.
Yeah.
Do you think he would have been signed a bit to help you as well? Somebody settle in a bit more, you're doing well, to help you settle.
Just get his mate off.
Yeah.
Well, saying that, they cost the club 2.5 or 3 million as well. So, no, I think the club so well. We bring another young South American. It's more like an investment and see what happens. I think they saw that if you do well, we have another good investment in the club. But with Nicolas, obviously, like you say, the players they have in front of him at that time, it was hard for him to get in front of them,
What did you think when Howard took over?
Well, Howard was different style than Peter Reid. For me, since particularly didn't work out, for some reason he didn't like me.
From the off, do you think?
Well, I don't know what happened there, but even some of the English lads, I remember, they were questioning about him coming to the club. I can't remember how much time off he had before from one club to the other. But it was old-fashioned, definitely old-fashioned manager. And he brought a young coach with him.
Steve Cotterill.
That he was just starting there. And yeah, for me, it was one of them seasons to forget, to be honest. I think I played.
Did he do the Swans?
Yeah, that was his. I remember being in that meeting.
You remember that?
Yeah.
Because I always speak about that. You correct me if I'm wrong, but I remember like getting in the changing room, yeah? And then we have a TV in there. And did he say like, we're going to watch a football team, or I can't remember exactly what he say. He mean like we're going to watch, a team. I saw he was going to, for what I understood, a football team, a great football team. And then he put this video about birds flying. And,
Birds flying.
I remember
can just imagine everyone looking.
It was like,
Right? They put the wrong video. They put the wrong video in.
They were going in different shapes, and he was telling us, why they were doing that. And it was a bit weird. But to be honest, when you think about the stuff he used to do, I remember another day we went to I don't know if you were there, we went to the stadium on a Friday. He asked us to go on the pitch on the stadium, obviously empty stadium, walk around the position where you were going to play. And I remember like spending time with a psychology. We're talking about 2003, 2004. So obviously at that time for us, it was like, what are we doing? Walking on the pitch. Just, I'm walking here, you walking over there, he's walking over there. By, thinking now about what he used to do, it probably was ahead of some of the things because he was already thinking on the psychology stuff.
So what, you were just closing an imaginary player down?
Well, it wasn't like he was thinking like he was saying to us, well, go into your position and more or less picture what you're going to do tomorrow. And obviously at that time, he was like, what are we doing this for? But thinking about it now.
Ahead of his time.
I think it was.
I just imagine Niall Quinn just backstage. Have that.
I think he was more or less working on the psychology side.
Yeah.
That obviously at that time, I don't think many teams have psychology people around, where now everything have a psychology or two, working on your mental side all the time. So going back to that, it was funny, it was weird, but it might have been ahead of some of the
trailblazers that get mocked.
Or some of the stuff that the other managers
I heard Jack Grealish talking about winning league. He said they watched that duck video and that was it, changing it up for him.
We're coming from the old regime really, where it was just what you see is what you get, just motivational talks and then
chalk trees.
Yeah, so the lads in the change room must have been like,
especially the old school lads. The old school lads, right? Nobody likes change, do they? The old school, like, what the fuck?
I know it's not wrong and right. Obviously manager, myself being manager now, you have different styles of motivated players. Everyone got their own style. So obviously when you're a player, you always complain about stuff, don't you? You always have something to say. So, look, again, it probably was his style to motivate players. But as I say, that season didn't work for me. I only played 4 games, I think, all season. I was in the reserves. I remember being on the bench of the reserves as well.
On the bench for the reserves?
Yeah, so I remember like one day the manager from the reserve came and said, look, Julio, you're going to be on the bench today. And it was like, really? And that's why I probably wasn't happy about it, because he never really came to me and explained me why.
Yeah.
Because, if he said, look, I don't like your style, I don't like the way you play, you're not going to be involved, I probably talk it better. Because at least he's being honest.
Yeah. That's good psychology again, though, of talking about that's two different sides of psychology, because if you're not playing with somebody, you need to explain
be honest,
to them
and
why.
you learn from that, because, with the players now, coaching players, managing players, I think, being honest is probably the best thing, the best way to go forward. I know players probably don't like what you have to say to them, but I always say to them, look, I'd rather be honest with you than lie to you.
Did you have a sulk in your locker? Because I think if I'm sub for the reserves, I think I'm getting my boots and my wash bag and I'm getting in my car and fucking off.
Imagine the amount of things that crossed my mind at that time. It was
that's a
game,
piss tech, that, isn't
it was a game in the training ground. And I remember like the first thing going past, because we were playing and some of the lads were laughing. Obviously, I wasn't happy. I was fuming, But a couple of months after, he left. And then I remember Mick arriving at the club. And even when he arrived, I said, look, I want to go. And I remember having a few conversations with Mick. I said, look, I want you to stay. I want you to play for me. And I went from playing 4 games on one season to play more or less 40 the season after. So that's how things football.
Completely spin around.
You
must have been.
I was on about the meeting. I wasn't in it. The meeting when Howard said he'd left, we're going to leave.
Yeah.
And was it Tom Peters?
I can't remember that. What?
It was Pipes that told us, wasn't it? I think he just got out of his seat and went, yes!
He was.
Were you in the meeting when he said he was
going?
going?
That, to be honest. Well, we didn't have a good season, So...
You were buzzing they were late.
Well, for me particularly, because it was or the clue changing manager or myself out.
Yeah,
it's one of them things. It worked well for me because Mick arrived. It was a fresh affair. I think for the clue as well. He arrived with different ideas.
Exciting for you.
Exciting, yeah. Obviously, big name for the clue. Being in the Irish national team. He arrived to a young squad. Very, very young squad. And I remember he getting players from low in the leagues, like Dean Whitehead, Danny Collins, and many others. Credit to him, to be honest. The recruitment was good. He paid off.
Because I think he took over with a few games to go in that Premier League season.
Yeah.
And I don't think we won a game, did we?
No, we had to win 10 games in 10. I think it was mission impossible.
It must have been even more frustrating because that season was obviously that terrible season with the lowest point and you're not playing and you can't even affect things.
Yeah.
You must have been thinking, did you think when after relegation, I'll move on?
Well, I didn't play that 10 games, the last 10 games. I didn't play much. And that's why I told him I want to leave. And then obviously summer arrived. He changed a few things around. A lot of players left the club. And then I think we 10, 15 players left the club. So it was a lot of players left the club. And then new players arrived and I have a conversation with him and he convinced me to stay. So
had you got options to leave?
Couple options in Spain, if I'm not wrong. It wasn't nothing more or less done, but it was few options in there. But I wanted to stay in the club. I like it here, I thought I could provide to the club. And funny enough, that season I played 40 games and we were in the FA Cup semi-final. We got in the playoff. We got knocked out in the playoff. So I played nearly like 40, 45 games. So I felt like I could do more for the club.
Back.
Yeah, definitely. That's why I stayed.
Yeah.
Did you like Mick?
I like Mick, yeah. I think Mick was one of them where it was black or white, it's not nothing in between, he like you or he hate you. And he was quite honest, at least with me, some players might think different, but it was good. Him and Taff, remember?
It's Ian Evans.
Yeah. No, they were good. We played some good football on the Mick as well. It's good to enjoy playing for a manager, when you play and you feel like you always got the manager like back you up and you get that trust with them as well, that he's been honest with you, you've been honest with them. It's not easy for a manager to get that relationship with the players. And I think he built that group from scratch and it was good.
We got knocked out. I think Palace beat us in the semis and then we won the league the year after.
Yeah.
It was just that Premier League, we talk about his recruitment to get us out of the Championship.
Yeah.
That recruitment in the Premier League was just lacking, wasn't it?
Was it money spent?
I don't think he had an awful lot of
Is that when he bought like Steady for
He brought Steady,
million?
Andy Gray, Tommy Miller. I think the way he went down was trying to sign the best players in the Championship.
Yeah.
To come up with us. And it just didn't work, did it?
Yeah, I think it has something to do with the funds as well. I don't think the club provide the money probably he wanted. So if you ask for a player, I want player A, and you don't go player A, then I go for player B, and then you go for the third option. Obviously, the repercussion probably won't be as good as if you go the first option, So I think something to do with the funds. Obviously, that season was
tough, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was tough. Yeah, we didn't have probably a team to compete in the Premier League. I can't remember getting beat for many goals. It was always 1-0, 2-1, 3-1, but it wasn't like enough for us to like.
Just a goal scorer you needed.
Yeah, I mean, goal scorer, maybe defensively well. It was a bit of everything there.
Is this when you've just come through then? This.
Yeah.
I won't blame him. Yeah. It was a bit of everything there. We needed to improve.
So how far into that season are you like, we're fucked here? So you got, what did you get, 16 points?
Yeah.
15, 16 points?
Yeah.
So you must know by August, September, October, November, we're done here.
And you always know because normally you're looking at the manager, aren't you? Going, oh, he's killing us. But it wasn't like that, was it?
No.
The players were just like,
We're just
I just don't think we're good enough as a team.
I think, sometimes when you're playing in a good team and you're playing, well, you've been there, when you
I've not played in many.
So it's just, it was a good team, not probably as good as we needed to compete in the Premier League.
Was there a togetherness in the dressing room?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was.
I think so.
It was.
Don't think.
Yeah,
don't
the
think
quality
we were
was
good
there.
Yeah.
And the lads that he brought in were just having a bad time. Like, remember the stick that Kelvin used to get?
Oh,
Kelvin Davis was
Kelvin
made a bit
Davis,
of a scapegoat. And
it was good for Ipswich. It was really good. I think it's all about confidence. Well, when results go on your way, you get confident. Everything seems to be okay. Something you need look on your side as well. Well, that season, everything it was against us,
remember Matt Taylor, lad at Portsmouth, a left winger / left back.
Yeah, West Ham.
He might have ended up there. I think he ended up at West Ham.
He scored a great goal.
From the halfway line. And that when Kelvin must have just been like, fuck me. The ball's just dropped and he's hit it on the volley.
Yeah, I can't remember it.
And that's when it turned toxic that season, didn't it, by the end? I remember Breeny got, we played Gary Breen, Bolton away, made a tackle in midfield and our fans are shouting, Red, send him off.
Yeah.
And you just think, well, obviously not good enough. It's not for the sake of trying, was it? They had like honest lads. It was awful.
Well, you need to understand the fans obviously pay for the tickets. They want to see the team playing well, winning. And we didn't provide that to them.
Nah.
And did your lads lay low around the town and that then?
Absolutely not.
No, that's the problem. You were still out fucking Tuesday, Saturday, Sunday. On your Premier League money, fuck it.
It was a sad season for us as well.
Yeah. None of us wanted Mick to go.
No,
not
really.
That's a testament, really, for him as a manager. The fact that results aren't coming, but you don't want the manager to go.
Yeah, exactly.
And sometimes you don't know what's coming next. So you're replacing a good, honest manager, but obviously you don't know what's coming next. But obviously the season we have, things need to change. That's common sense. Football doesn't give you much time now.
Yeah.
Probably have more time before. Now managers, 6,
getting less and less,
7, 10 games, start getting questioned. Look, Newcastle got beat 2-3 times and then the manager get questioned about what's happening. So,
but you must have had a great chance of going straight back up. If you signed the best players from the Championship that went down, or do you think you just needed another clear out?
I think that's what happened. It was a bit of a shambles that following pre-season. Remember, I think we went to Bath University without a manager. I think Pete Fryer took the whole pre-season. The physio took all the fitness stuff.
Oh, she didn't have a manager?
No. And there was talk of the takeover at that time, wasn't there, with Quinny. And there was rumours about Roy Keane and this and that. But in the end, Quinny appointed himself as manager.
And that's the season I left.
Yeah. Had you made that decision by the end of the season that you were going to be going?
No, I think I made a decision on pre-season.
Because of the chaos?
It's just chaos. We didn't have... I don't think the chairman is still around. I think the chairman at that point was more or less leaving the club. Then imagine going to a pre-season without manager, without just staff. It's just the physio. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it was a fitness coach in there. Was there a fitness coach in there? I can't remember.
I don't think we did. It was
So it was.
You have a good few nights out in Bath.
Just all turning up, there's just Pete in middle of field. Right, Pete, where's everyone?
Yeah.
Just me.
What are we doing today, Pete? Just give us a minute, I've just got these strappings to do.
To be honest, we respect him. We try to do the best we can, but I saw at that time the club didn't know, what was going to happen. It wasn't a path where they were looking to go, and then Middlesbrough came, and they were interested in me. Obviously, being in the Premier League, the season before they lost against Seville in the UEFA final, so it was a strong team they have.
Was that McLaren?
No. So McLaren was there when they got beat in the semi-final, in the final, sorry. And then Southgate became the manager. So Southgate more or less finished that season and went from being a player to be a manager, and that was his first role.
Were you his first ever
and
signing?
That was his first signing. So he became a manager, and a month after he signed me. So for me, it was a step forward. I think my time was done in Sunderland at that time, and then obviously I want you to carry on playing, as high as you can, as you do, don't you?
Were there other options?
I have an option to go to Espanyol Barcelona. That was quite a strong one. It was more or less done there, and then.
So have you basically fucked the idea of moving to Spain off then? I'm not.
Well, at that time in Spain. It was they more or less put a contract together, but then they say, okay, well, this money, we're going to pay this money like this money like that. So it was a bit like, the contract was a bit messy in a way. And then, obviously, myself being in England for 6-7 years, I knew how things working here. And then Middlesbrough came. He presented a contract for me to play in the Premier League. So I saw, well, look, the strong team, they got fantastic players. I'd rather stay here. I know the place, I know the area.
It's a good contract, wasn't it?
It
was a good contract, wasn't it?
Is it the proverbial new challenge?
Yeah. The new challenge about having to move.
Perfect.
Thanks, Gareth.
How was he? Southgate.
Oh, it was good. It was a really, really good bloke.
Is he a coach or is he a manager?
He was manager. And then he have a lot of people helping him out. Colin Cooper was there, helping him out. And at that time, Middlesbrough have some fantastic players.
Unbelievable.
You've gone from working with Chris Brown to Mark Viduka.
Mendieta.
Yakubu Brown.
Don't laugh at him, Julio, man. Don't encourage him.
Listen, put it this way. I went from playing with young players to playing with international players.
So you weren't babysitting anymore.
It was some good players in there. Yakubu Viduka, you mentioned. Boateng, Mendieta. Obviously, Stewie Downing, he was doing really well at that time. He was more like experience, and he was, first team player. And then you have, Abel Xavier, Marc Schwarze, Boateng, captain. It was
a proper team, ain't you? Yeah.
It was a lot of good players, and that's what I wanted. Become a better player by playing alongside them. And the intensity in the session, everything was it was good. I enjoy. And Southgate obviously have a big task, because it's not easy to become a manager and managing the players that you were playing with them the season before, leaving some of your teammates out of the squad. Some of the lads, they were traveling with you in the car, leaving them out.
How did he deal with that?
Probably helped you with a boring bastard, didn't it? I can't imagine him being very lively in the dressing room as a player.
Yeah. Look, as a player, I don't know what he was like, because obviously I never played with him. But as a manager, he was good, he was honest. He never really had a right go. It was his personality. He didn't need to. Probably the other ones could do that bit. But I think the hardest part for him was to deal with that,
that
transition. But he done well. First season was good. It more or less happened the same in Sunderland. The first season was good. Second season, we finished about 13, 14 in the table. And the season after, we got relegated. And and then he started the championship with us. We were top in the league, lost some players, and then he got sacked. I think we were top of the league with Newcastle, if I'm not wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And then after 5-6 games, if I'm not wrong, he got sacked.
Because Middlesbrough got relegated, but Sunderland ended up going back up with Keane. Was
Yeah.
there ever a point when you thought,
Made the
I
wrong
wish I'd
choice.
stuck around?
So after being a year in Middlesbrough, obviously Roy Keane arrived in the club, and the year after, Sunderland trying to sign me again. But
didn't know
Middlesbrough
that.
didn't want to let me go at that time.
Would you have gone?
Well, it was a hard decision. I was playing in Middlesbrough, but you know, it was good to hear, you know, a club that you've been there,
They want you back.
want you back.
And
mean
yeah,
that
Keane
you
as
don't,
well.
yeah, especially it means that you done something good there, you know. But it was hard for me to like leave Middlesbrough. You know, they provided me a great opportunity.
A great contract.
Yeah, going back to that, I love that one.
Did you get any stick from the Sunderland fans when you went back? Because even though it's not Newcastle, Sunderland, there's still a rivalry there, isn't there, with Middlesbrough
I'm
being
sure
so
some
close?
fans probably were upset about me being there or going there. I think people understood that I want to play, you know, I was only 25, 26, so I want to play as high as I could. And I think the majority of the people talking the right way. It would have been different if I went to Newcastle.
Yeah.
Put it that way. I think the rivalry between, well, you know, it's like Sunderland and Newcastle is a lot bigger than Sunderland and Middlesbrough. We are, you know, the last 10, 15 years, we have a lot, you know, few players that went from Middlesbrough to Sunderland. Grant Lebete, obviously Stewie came from Middlesbrough to Sunderland on loan. So I don't think the rivalry is as big as the one with Newcastle.
We've got to mention loads of people asked about the Shearer tackle.
Yeah. I think they make it a lot bigger than what it was. We played Newcastle, we got beat, I think it was 4-0 that game.
1-0 up at half time we were.
You
Yeah.
what?
1-0 up at half time.
I remember like it was me and him going for a ball, and he must land in the wrong way because it wasn't even a tackle, to be honest. We just went for the ball. He landed wrongly, and then I think he done his meniscus, no? But look, it wasn't any malicious tackle in there. People make made something bigger out of that. Look, I always say Shearer was a great footballer. You know,
So the Sunderland fans thought he's done Shearer for
These people do him, But,
You see, he's a great player until you're on the train from Sunderland to Newcastle, and then he's a wanker, isn't he?
yeah, you know what? They got me into that. I was watching. I went to see Sunderland Newcastle away. Sunderland won 1-0 that day. First time I went away with the fans. Julio gives a song. I didn't know any song. And one of my mates should say, like, just do this one. And as soon as I started, I said, like, I'm going to be in trouble here.
Where are you in your career? Have you
No,
retired?
I was retired.
Right.
So imagine
So
doing
you
this
just-
now.
I know.
So you went Shearer's a wanker and you
well,
went,
it was more like
Shearer.
I didn't really sing. I went like Shearer is, and then I stopped in there, and then everyone was like,
So you didn't actually say
it was a bit banter.
Thing is, there is a lot of peer pressure. You've been there, haven't you?
I just ignore it.
Yeah.
Give us a song, I just ignore it.
Yeah.
Take the booze.
Yeah. Obviously, I don't know him as a person. As a player, you know, even I play for Sunderland, you have to be honest, don't you? He was a great footballer. Done fantastically well for the national team. So, you know, nothing bad to say about him.
What was Mark Viduka like as a character?
Strange. He'll go past one morning and then probably don't say good morning. You know, just go past and he should, did he see me? You know, he was like one of them, like,
Mark,
you know.
Mark.
And then the next morning, say, how you doing? You all right? It was a bit like, it was a bit strange. But what a great footballer he was.
Was he a good trainer?
When he wanted to be, yeah. He could turn up and he was lazy. But when he was on, he was a great footballer. I mean, I remember playing in the midfield because I went from left back to the centre midfield, and I have him and Jakub in front of me, and you will pass the ball as hard as you could, and then just the ball will stick on his feet, and he'll protect the ball. He was so strong, good on his feet, good turning, very, very good turning. You know, when he had that centre back right next to you, he will turn and will push them away. It was, great football.
I think he's the best I've seen at that. Just getting his arse in and just turning.
Not the quickest one, but
he made it look
you
easy.
know, in small spaces, especially inside the box, it was great. Turning and just having a shot.
I'm sure he scored an hat-trick against us up at Middlesbrough in the FA Cup for Hull. He beat us 4-2, 4-3, I think. And I think I might even scored 4. I just thought he's good, him.
Yeah, it was good.
Not bad, him.
Well, he was good at Leeds.
Yeah.
He was good at Leeds. And then, obviously, they got him at Middlesbrough. And him and Yakubu, that was a good partnership.
Yeah.
Then I think they brought Tunchai and Mido. They came after then.
But he liked me though, because he came to Barnsley and he was fucking bigger than me.
Oh,
he was a big old piece of kit.
He was a fluctuator, wasn't he?
With Mido. I think Mido is probably one of the strikers I play with. When he was fit and when he wants to like do it right, but like you say, he could go one summer and just come back. Unbelievable. What happened there? And then he will get fit straight away.
Yeah, we've heard that
was
before.
like, like boxers do. They let themselves go and then like get fit. Mido will do that. I don't know if it's something to do with his body or what, but when he was fit, what left foot he have? He have everything. I mean, that's why he play in the teams. Some of the teams he play. I mean, he's talking about Ajax. He play in Spain.
He was shit on
He
at
play
Tottenham.
in Rome. I don't know if it was Rome or Lazio. He play in France. I think so. He's been around.
Loves the
That
challenge.
bastard ended up at Barnsley.
Well, yeah. He must done something right. Obviously playing.
Did them sort of players frustrate you? Do you know, like, he's just not asked today.
I like him. I get on well with him. So I will say to him, like, come on, man, just get yourself right.
You're like,
You're
Sebi
big.
Duke, but incredible if you want to be.
No, Mark
Would you
was
say that
different.
to
Mark
him?
will look after himself. He was just lazy in a way, something you should like, get up in the morning and probably. But then on the games, he'll provide to you. Where Mido, he was frustrated that he lets himself go. Something like, instead of looking after himself a bit more, because he has so much potential. I remember having conversation with him, Mido, you're massive for us. You're a big, big part of the team. And I don't know, it's just something like he seemed bothered, something he didn't seem bothered. I remember one pre-season, he came back overweight and he got so fit he was flying, unbelievable. And he trained really, really hard. So I don't know why he put in that position where he could have been on a stable line all the time, but
Just couldn't maintain it.
yeah, he couldn't maintain it. That's probably the best way to describe it.
What was he like, rocking back?
Fabio, good footballer, very, very good. Different style of Brazilian players are like, always you see Brazilian players like very technically, he was technically, but Brazilian footballers at that time, they didn't like for a challenge and, go for a 50-50. It was more like, pulling away where he'll go for attack. He was a bit dirty. I was playing alongside him in the midfield. And he was strong midfield, he have everything.
What was he like as a character? Because he went to prison, did he, for cockfighting?
Really?
Yeah, he did.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it is. Blood sports.
With his or
Well, back in Brazil.
Oh, not his Willie, his chickens. Like.
He was a bit quiet. He was one of them players that, arrive training and then finish training, go home.
Yeah,
He
feed
didn't
his
do
birds.
any extra work. And then I used to see him once in a while. We used to meet like a little bit, but he kept for himself. Obviously.
he had to get back to train his cocks, to train his chickens. Didn't he? I have to get off, lads. I've got a big
I didn't know
cock
that.
fight on
Yeah.
Saturday.
Who were your mates
for that,
there?
Yeah, got in trouble.
Who were your mates? Like, who would you go out with?
Yeah, Tunchai, I used to get on with Mido. Mido, it was good. I remember in his house, Mido have all these shishas, the smoking pipes that they do a lot in Egypt. And yeah, he'll get in his house and he have 3 or 4 going on of them. Oh, Mido, probably on a Tuesday afternoon. He don't want to do that.
Bellowing out.
That's a culture for them. People like here after work go for a pint or 2. For him, it was like just culture having that in the house. It was a nice group of lads there. Stewie, David Wheeler were there. they was just coming up. Lee Cattermore, Andrew Taylor. It was the young gang coming, into the team. So it was a mix of experienced players and young lads as well. Good young players in there.
Did you ever
Very
have
good.
it in your career when a young lad's come over from Argentina or something similar to what you did, and were you the Emerson Tom where you could look after them and help them settle in? Did you ever have?
I helped
that?
a player that came to Middlesbrough, Emmanuel Ledesma, young player, came from Argentina. And he was a bit older than me. He was 24, 25. He had that language problem. So I was more or less doing everything for him, trying to find a house, helping his wife with the baby, going to NHS appointments with them, trying to being translator, being on the phone through the bank, all the stuff that Emerson used to do for me. I was more like an assistant, but because I was there before, I knew what it felt like, not being available to communicate with anyone. So I didn't mind doing. I was trying to make his life easy away from football, as comfortable as it could, for him to be comfortable on the football side.
Quick break, gents, to bring a message from NordVPN once again.
And they have a very good offer.
They do have a very good offer.
What have we got, Chris?
3 months free and money back guarantee if you don't like it, but I can't imagine why you wouldn't like it.
30-day?
30-day money back guarantee.
Still blows my mind, this,
If you're not aware of how NordVPN works, you just bounce your location anywhere in the world. So you can watch, if you want to watch in football games that are that are only being shown in certain other countries, or maybe there's TV shows that aren't available in the country that you are currently residing. Well, just bounce that location, get yourself involved.
So for people who are like me, bouncing your location means
You're sat at home in Barnsley. Oh, I want to. Maybe you want to watch a game, or you want to watch a TV show that's only being shown in Argentina.
right.
You're bouncing your IP location, your internet location to that country, and you can watch it.
So my computer thinks I'm in Argentina.
Yes.
Right. Just for people who don't know what bouncing location means.
Yeah. And then you can watch that game.
Right.
And the security elements as well to NordVPN, because all them passwords, your bank details, everything that you want to keep under lock and key, Nord sort that out. It's like having some personal bodyguards, bouncers.
I'm sure you'd agree, John. It's imperative this day and age. 3 months free, 30-day money back guarantee.
What more do you need to know? Links are in the description. Just
Can't
click
be
it.
any clearer.
Clickety-click, off you go. Sign yourself up. 3 months free.
Obviously, we've never done it, but I can imagine, going to Colombia and playing in Colombia.
chucked it in,
19.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I'd be able to cope with it all, mate.
He didn't see many English players at that time going abroad. Probably the first one, one of the first one, obviously, apart from the Linekers and others that went abroad. And Beckham when he went to Madrid, and
But young English
Michael
players.
Owen follow. Obviously, Gascoigne,
But
was
we're
abroad.
lucky because when English lads go to, say, Italy or Germany or whatever, a lot of lads still speak English over there. But imagine if Emerson wasn't here, or who else was...
Stefan Suarez speak a bit Spanish as well.
Yeah, imagine if they weren't here.
Yeah.
It would have just... And that would be us.
Yeah,
Not
in
a
Colombia.
clue.
Yeah. It was just hard to Sunday it was even hard to if things weren't right in the board in the changing room, and the manager say, "Oh, we'll meet tomorrow 10:30." Say, if no one was there for me to translate, I wouldn't know what he was saying. So what time? Yeah, I was trying to figure out, we're here in the training ground or in the stadium. So it was just anything that it was easy for you 10:30 tomorrow.
Exactly.
Yeah. For me, it was so I need to go and see the secretary. And remember Tracy?
Yeah.
I remember she was, every time I used to go and see her, as soon as I entered the door, she would pick the dictionary, open up, and I have the dictionary with me, open up, and that's the conversation we used to have.
Yeah.
So anything I didn't understand, she would show me in the dictionary, yeah, that's what I meant. And then I will try to say something to her, this is what I'm, it was crazy.
Just the stuff that
We
we take for
fucking
granted.
hell, he's here again.
yeah, probably. She probably sick of me.
Because even
But-
now you've got Google Translate and everything. You just speak into
you
your
got
phone, don't you?
everything.
And then it
I
translates.
think every football team, especially when you're talking Premier League, you got a lot of people helping you
Yeah.
out. They do everything for you now.
You've had to turn from a boy to a man in a
months.
What's the flight from Argentina to England?
We're taking nearly 2 flights, like about 18, 20 hours.
Yeah, so you land in England and you on your own.
On your own,
basically.
yeah. Yeah, the first few months I was in a hotel, and then they put me in an apartment in the marina, Sunderland Marina, and I was there on my own. So I used to Alex Ray used to pick me up to go to training. So I used to go train, finish, come back home. Train, finish,
What's
come
that
back home.
conversation like at Cardiff?
Yeah, it was. He used to pick me up first in the hotel in Durham, and it was a good 20, 25 minutes in the car. It was the longest 25 minutes.
I was Strachan.
Again, for me, didn't really work out. Obviously, he came from Celtic, if I'm not wrong, big team. He made a lot of changes in the club. He brought a lot of Scottish players to Middlesbrough.
On big money as well. They were all
On big money,
weren't
yeah. They pay some good money for some of the players. Some of the players done well. Some of the players probably didn't perform as what the club expected them. Gordon have a hard character, especially with young players, It was just some of the things he used to do, like for the players, like didn't really work out. Some of the things he used to do when the team didn't play well or we didn't get a result on Monday, we'll run without warming up. So I remember going, I don't know if you've been in Middlesbrough training ground, going down the hill on the pitch, and as soon as we got there, I will put 10 people in one corner of the pitch, 10 people on the opposite corner, and then his assistant will blow the whistle and start running without warming up at all. And we done that. Imagine doing that without warming up. Well, I remember I think it was Gary O'Neill. He done his hammy once. He should start sprinting, blow the whistle, go, do one side, then you do 2 sides, then you do 3 sides, then you do 4 sides. And then player was thinking how can we do that without warming up? But that was a strange thing to do, and
Was he just not bothered?
Well, you upset players by doing that, don't you? And that's what you learn, I remember now, when I say I'm a manager, I remember all this stuff that you learn the good things and the bad things that you don't want to do to the players. Because if you want to put the players against you, that's probably something that you don't want to do. And we used to do that, and it was hard.
I knew something wasn't right then because Sean St. Ledger signed for him at Middlesbrough.
Yeah.
Were you there with Sean? Can you remember that?
Christmas time, weren't
Yeah, he signed on loan, and
Preston.
it was a permanent. The permanent was done and dusted. But he hated it that much. He came back, didn't he?
Yeah.
Just didn't want to sign for Gordon Strachan.
Yeah, it was just, Gordon was too much in your face sometimes,
Intense.
It's just in the way probably, he don't speak the same way you speak with a senior player to a young kid. If you speak probably the same way, you're frightened, that kid will be frightened, will be scared.
Do you think he ruined some players?
I won't say he ruined some players. I think it was his style of, the way probably in Celtic have a lot of senior players. So he was quite straightforward to them. While Middlesbrough he came to a mix of young players, and, the way he was saying things some of the young players probably, didn't work for the young players. It probably worked for some of the senior players. Again, it's different styles, he's done well as a manager. So, in teams that he's done well. So different philosophies, So that's always, it's hard to say that's wrong, that's right. There's so many styles and philosophy out there. And, people probably will agree with that, saying you have to be on top of the players all the time, being aggressive on the way you speak with them. And some of the managers say, no, you should need to be calm.
Which manager moved you into centre midfield?
Southgate.
Did he?
What happened, I signed for Middlesbrough. I done pre-season, the first game, I got a back kick on my foot that broke my toe. So I was left for 2 months on the side, recovering. Andrew Taylor, young lad, came to play as a left back, done well. And then they moved me into the midfield with George Watten. Then it was me and Fabio Rochenbach. And then I just ended up being in that position. I done well the first season. The second season, I think he made me captain for some time. Gordon came over, moved me to the left wing again, and then on the Tony Mowbray, I was left wing again.
How did you find it, going from, starting out as a left back to ending up playing centre midfield?
Well, it's just, I think centre midfield is all about awareness. You know, you need to like constantly check what's going on around. Well, left wing is just up and down the line, you know, in, out. While midfield is like you need to be sharp on what you're going to do. You know what you need to do before the ball arrives. Because, you know, it's a lot of people. I enjoy that position. I think, you know, some of the parts that I was in midfield I done well. I enjoy playing obviously with Mark Biduk and Yakubu when you have players that you can pass the ball and, you know, they look after the ball. I enjoy playing alongside Stewie Downing. We understood really well each other. I remember playing with him when I was at Sunderland as a left back. He was playing in front of me as a left wing. When I went to the left side, when I went to the centre midfield, he was playing alongside me on the left wing. I always used to find him behind the right back. That was something that we really done really well. We used to look at each other. He knew what I was going to do. He used to run behind the right back. And
you playing that position before, I imagine you know where them were.
As a centre midfield, no, I never played there before. That was,
no, but I mean, knowing what Stewie's going to do.
I knew what Stewie was going to do. Yeah,
you've done
I
it
knew
so
that
much
he
yourself.
liked that ball in behind, and he was always wanting that ball in the space because he had the speed and the quality to obviously put crosses in the box. I enjoyed my time in there as a midfield. But obviously then I got injured. I was out for 3 or 4 months with a knee injury, ligament against Sunderland. I scored against Sunderland. It was a 2-2 at home.
You celebrate?
No, I didn't.
No,
couldn't celebrate against Sunderland. But typical, you play against your old team and everyone was I bet you score. I ended up scoring. And then I got injured. I went for a tackle with Dwight York. Strong tackle. It wasn't malicious, but it was strong tackle. And I done my medial ligament, so that pulled me out for 3-4 months. And again, you know, when you're out for 3 or 4 months, you fight for your position again. And it took me a bit long to get back on the team.
Did you get released and then sign back again?
I finished the contract. And then the club, well, we're trying to decide, you know, waiting for the club to offer me something. I took about 4, 5, 6 weeks.
Right.
And then more or less before the season started, they offered me another year on the Tony Mowbray. And that was my last professional year in football. I have a problem with my foot that I was carrying out since I was 25. Obviously, no one knew about it. I started in Sunderland. I remember playing a game in Sunderland, and I went to kick a ball, and I kicked someone's foot right with my front toe, and that caused something on the joint, on the big toe, and that started giving me a lot of problems. And the first cortisone injection, I remember it lasts 18 months, 24 months. It was good. And then through the years, it was down to 18, 12. And I was in Middlesbrough. Last time I have an injection on that, and it lasted 3 weeks. So that was my foot. Obviously, the joints have no cartilage at all, bone to bone.
Basically just masking.
Yeah.
It's just,
masking the problem.
Gone. Yeah. And then that's when I went for an operation before my contract ended with Middlesbrough. And it took me bloody 2 years to recover.
Really?
And that's how I decided to stop.
How old were you?
I was only 31, 32. Yeah. I always been fit. But it was frustrated. It took me so long to recover. I was trying to go for a run and it hurt so much.
How long did they say the initial recovery would take?
I say it was going to be 6 months, probably. And after 6 months, it was just, normally you bend your toes, try to run, and it could not bend my big toe. It was just really uncomfortable. Obviously, being the left foot as well, my strongest foot, I could not kick the ball too hard. So I was out for 2.5 years. And then slowly going to running, start playing a bit tennis. So it was no contact.
So you basically just retired by then?
Well, yeah, more or less. I saw well, after being 2 years out, it's going to be hard to get back. But to be honest, thinking now, I could have gone back because I could have tried playing, in another league. If it was in the Championship or the Premier League, could have gone to probably abroad. But I started doing my coaching license, and then I joined a Sunday Team League.
Willow Pond.
Willow Pond. So that was an experience.
How did it come about? Like just
that was an experience. I don't know if you ever played Sunday League before. You didn't have a chance. No.
I don't even like watching it, to be honest. I wasn't watching it like that. Oh.
How old were you?
I was 33, 34.
And you rocked up at Sunday League?
What happened is, like, after being out for 2 years, 2.5, obviously I know a lot of people in here in Sunderland, and just one of my mates said to me, look, I know you try to get fit. I said, why you don't come and play for us a few times, see what you feel like. And I don't really know much about Sunday leagues, to be honest. Apart from what you see on TV, big tackles and, big lads. And I say, are you sure? Yeah, it's a few games. And then, like, pack it in. And I say,
I can imagine your mate just tell it rest. I'm going to sign in, lads. He's coming down this week. And then
I don't think he told anyone. He should, like, basically give me the forms. I sign on a Thursday or whatever. And then he put the forms in. And then
you get international clearance.
On a Sunday, I was there. So I remember, like, that was my first experience in the Sunday League. I remember arriving there. And it's like Sunday League, the lads out all night on a Saturday, and then they turn up on a Sunday. So arriving in the changing room, like, it was these two lads outside the changing room being sick.
That's what it's all about.
Honestly, you could tell they were really, really pissed. And I went past and I told my mate, you see these two lads? I said, yeah, they're playing for us today. They're back and centre.
That's Meduka and Yakubu, right?
And that was my introduction to Sunday League. It was good in a way.
Were you targeted? Were you targeted?
Yeah, I was a few times, yeah. I was a few naughty tackles in there. You know what football is like? Football, you always more or less socialize with footballers when you're playing football. And I went down there to, like, socialize with people doing different roles, plumbers, joiners, builders. You get to know different people. And that's why I'm like, I like to, like, know different people, socialize with different people, get away from that football bubble that we normally are when you're playing football. And I got to meet some really nice people, some of the people I'm still in touch with.
Do you think that helped you with dropping out of the game? The fact that you're still kind of dipping your toe in and playing a little bit, but meeting completely different people, a new set of friends and this and that?
Yeah, that helped me. Having a run around on a Sunday helped me, obviously, mentally,
Did you ever turn up and be sick?
No, never done that. No? Never done that. I was eating healthy before the games. No, it was good. Good experience. I played for them nearly a year. I have Sky Sports coming over and all this stuff. I remember, like, when Sky came over the day before, the lads being in the hairdressers, like, doing it all. All the hairs, like, being nice on camera.
I bet there was some rascal dudes as well.
Yeah. It was, some of the places we play, it was just like, it's more or less starting all over again in football, When you're young, you go and play in different places, like where the pitch is like that. Probably the lines are not properly marked.
Yeah.
I was just like that. I enjoy playing football again, when I get away from all this pressure of, like, performing every week. And, if you don't perform, you're on the bench. And if you're not playing, the fans going to be on your back. Where there, I was just at the freedom of just go and play.
Were you ripping it up? Were you ripping it up?
Well, I was running around. I was trying hard. Yeah, the player was saying, why are you running around? Why are you doing this and why are you doing that? I'm competitive, man. I want to win every game. I've always been like that. And to be honest, I put something on their heads and they were turning up. They were going for it. They see me running around and they will follow me and they will tackle people and they will fight. And, it was good, man. It's just enjoyable. Some good footballers in the Sunday League. Good footballers that they don't really want to push themselves. Technically talented, but they should rather do something else and then turn up on the weekend and just have a bit banter with the lads.
When was it that you signed for Shields? Was that during?
I signed for Shields just 8-9 months after being in Sunday League. The manager there got in touch with one of my mates, and he asked me to go and meet with them. And at first I said, no, I don't want to know anything about it.
You just enjoying playing on Sunday.
Yeah.
Did you have an enforcer in your Sunday League team? You know, if somebody tries doing it, like Tommy the Builder, also.
Well, I have a few boys looking after me. Yeah, I have a few centre midfields, like big lads. Julio, don't worry, we'll look after you. But they came over and they asked me to have a word with them. And obviously the clue was just a starting point. I mean, everything was nothing like it is now. I don't know if you've been there, but...
I played against you for South Shields.
Oh, York?
Yeah.
At home? Yeah. Mm. So, the stadium is even better now than when you were there. So yes, I have a few conversations. The chairman just arrived at the club. He was trying to invest a lot of money in there, or trying to get the club back alive. And yes, I started playing with them when they were in Division 10. So we are side league, if I'm not wrong. Big impact for them to see again a play going from Premiership, Premier League, Championship, Sunday League to Willow Punch, like South Shields. I was more or less like climbing my way up again, you know. But South Shields was it was going back in time with South Shields in a way that going back in time, I will say probably 25, 30 years ago, when you play next to the fans, you could see the fans watching a game with a pint in their hands. It was more like a family club, if you know what I mean.
Community, community spirit.
Yeah, it was like that. And slowly the club started building up. When I went there, it was only a few hundred. Then obviously, after a few games, people started coming through the doors. It became 400 or 500. And now we have, I mean, we're talking now 8 years gone by, but we're talking having over 2,000.
It must be nice for you to have been part of that whole journey, now manager. And
yeah, it was good. It was good for the club, to be honest. The club done well signing the managers that were there. They done really well to sign the players that they signed. I seen they always sign players that they were above the league where we play. And in 3 years, we won more or less everything. First season, we won the league. Second season, I think we won 4 different cups. We won the FA Bus in Wembley. I think you play.
We played that day.
Yeah. And you won as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to bring it up.
And then, yes, we won 4 different cups that season. And then we got promotion again. So it was 3 promotions in a row. So the club became, massively well known around the country for doing so well in a short time. And 3 years, 3.5 years. And then, when I was 38, going to 39, that's when I packed it in. It's just, we got promotion, and the higher you go in the leagues, the more travel you start doing. 3 hours in here, 4 hours in there. And I didn't enjoy that much, the traveling.
Somebody asked about the game against Morpeth with the floodlights.
Oh,
did you cut the wires for the floodlights or something?
Yeah, I don't know what happened that game. I tell you now. Yeah, I get blamed for everything. Cheater, the lights. That game, I think we're getting beat. Was 3-1 or 4-1. Yeah, against them. I got sent off. I think halftime. Before halftime.
What for?
I got a yellow card first, and then second yellow card, went for a tackle. Strikers came on top of me. I kind of pushed it away. I think it was something like that, and then got a second yellow card. So it was a soft yellow card. Got sent off, and then went in the stands, and 10 minutes before the game, Bush. Everything was dark. So, when you start looking at people around.
Some clippers with gloves on.
And then lights went off, and obviously everyone started looking at each other. What's going on? They have a lot of people coming to the stadium, electricians, having a look at this, having a look at that. I could not tell you what happened there. I don't know.
So the result,
people guessing, they done it on purpose, this and that. Look, I don't know what happened there. I was just in the stand watching the game, and then like 10 minutes before the game, everything just went off. And then, we played.
Smithy, electrician from Sunderland. Smithy, are you busy? Can you come and do us a favour? You can't come and turn us this electric off, could you, big one?
Well, the hardest thing for them to take was we play then a game in that pitch, and then we more or less battle them 4-1.
So, the game?
The game was cancelled.
The game void.
Yeah. So
Start again and you won.
That's when the rivalry between Middlesbrough and South Shields became obviously.
Does the red card get
heated?
Right.
Does the red card get wiped as well?
Yes, because I play against them. So
double
and then
whammy,
we played
result
them
and red card.
Obviously on their pitch, and we beat them 4-1. So obviously it was hard for them to take. Like, I mean, any other team will be the same, don't you? Winning 4-1, lights go off, then the league decides like, no, we should all start again, and then we ended up winning the FA Bass the same year.
Is that a proper rivalry now?
Well, I think after
Created
that,
a rivalry.
yeah, understandable why. Obviously, it's a big rival there.
After that blatant tomfoolery, that's where the rivalries come from.
Yeah,
It's like when you're losing on Championship Manager, so you turn it off.
Didn't it happen to you at Donny? When you were sweeping
Floodlight,
pitch?
yeah.
the same.
It got abandoned. I think we were winning 3-0. We had a man sent off. I scored a couple. Game voided, but the red card stood.
Oh, the red card.
Goals didn't count. Had to replay the game. We got beat in the returning fixture, and that result cost us. We got relegated.
Wow.
It was 3-0 at half time. Pardon?
I'm sure you've got the brush sweeping the water off.
We were trying to get the water off because we wanted the game to carry on, obviously.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
But they beat us in the return leg. The red card, he got a 3-game ban, even though the game was voided.
Right.
And then we end up getting relegated because by 1 point or something.
Yeah. Well, that's what happened. Obviously, we beat them, and then they done really well against us. The first half probably was the better team, and then second game we were the better team, and then lucky for us we went all the way, and then we achieved the trophy in Wembley. That was a massive day for the club. 18,000 people there in Wembley. Probably biggest day for the club. It was great to see a club coming from Division 10, Division 11, all the way to Wembley in a matter of 3 years. So
is it tough to switch the fuses in plugs and stuff for floodlights? You'll have to tell us how to do it after.
Just a bucket of water.
Does that do the job?
Still snippers.
I wouldn't know what to do be honest.
Are you
Where
enjoying?
is it geographically? Do you get like Newcastle, Sunderland fans?
South Shields.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get a mix. You get a mix of Newcastle and Sunderland fans.
So whenever their teams are away, people will come
Yeah,
watch.
normally it works better for the club when obviously one of them playing away. You get fans through the door. When it's international weekend, the one is coming, you get a lot of people through the door if you're doing reasonably well. So yeah, obviously it depends where they're playing and how good Sunderland and Newcastle are doing.
Now as you're getting further and further up them, especially an experience. Like you said, that more of a community feel.
Yeah, but the fan base now is a lot bigger. We played Sunderland in the summer preseason game, and it was 4,000 there. So for a club in Division 6 to have 4,000 there, is pretty good. And as I say before, the fan base now being more or less 2.5 every home game. So
did you always see yourself as a manager? Did you have aspirations when you finished?
Well, as I say, when I stopped playing, I started doing my coaching batches. Then I go to my B license. Then I stop in there. Always been doing coaching with young kids up to like 14, 15, 16-year-old. Done a bit work in Sunderland Academy. Few years I was there as a learning process. And then I stopped it for a while. And then last year I got into my A license. And I always been in touch with the club when I left the club, with the chairman and some people in there. Obviously, Kevin Phillips was there last season. Done really well.
Is it still the same chairman at South
Yes,
Shields now?
always been the same chairman.
Yeah.
And Kevin done well there, won the league. That was what he'd been asked for come to the club and obviously getting promotion. And then I don't know if it has something to do with money reasons or what happened afterwards, but he left. And then the club and myself got in touch and opportunity presented, and I said, well, I have a go. So yeah, it's good, different, and it's a lot more stressful than being a player, of course, you know.
Which manager that you've played under have you taken most from
Either
now
way,
you're in
good
a
and
manager?
bad.
Yeah, well, I mean, Tony Mowbray is one of the managers that I like the philosophy of football he play. I mean, you know what he done in Sunderland last year. Unbelievable the way they would play. I don't think Sunderland ever played like that before. I mean, even with Peter Reid when he was there, that we done well, we finished 7th. That wasn't the style of football. It was more long ball, direct, where he brought something different to the club. That people tried to do that before, but it didn't work out. I remember Gustavo Poyet, when he was here at Sunderland, he tried to do that. It didn't work out. Tony tried, young players, probably players not well known around, and it really paid off. The style totally changed. So it's someone that, you know, I like. And then you pick things, positive things and negative things for some managers. I won't say I won't do what he's done. Every manager got good and bad things that, you know, they do in different ways. And you learn from that. You know,
The lads in the sea yet? What ice bath?
they won't be there, I promise you. Funny enough, we got couple ice baths for them already. So
You had the swans on. You had the swans
no,
on.
that won't be there. No, that won't be there. We do a lot of analysis with them, but that won't be there. Look, I think players need now. Analysis is important for them, and you know what it's like. We've been there. If you have a lot of analysis for a long period of time, players get bored. So whatever you do, you have to be specific and short time. So in and out, 15, 20 minutes, show what they need to know, and then move on. Because, you know, that's the way things are at the moment. You know, I remember doing analysis with manager, and we used to sit and watch a full game, full 90 minutes.
Torture, weren't it?
You know what it's like.
Yeah.
Full 90 minutes, and it's just like 2 hours in there, and then probably go and train after that. Well, if you do that now, I don't think it'll work at all. You can probably show like the first 45 minutes, things that they done right and wrong, but just to watch a full game now, things changing football, you know.
So are you full time then, South Shields?
We are full time, yeah.
Full time. Are you one of the only teams in your league who are?
I think it's about 5-6 teams in the league, so we do everything as some other teams in, you know, high up in the leagues do. Train every day, normally off on Wednesday, Sunday. But yeah, we're trying to, like, myself and Tommy Miller, that is helping me out. We're just trying to do everything as any professional team, you know, do the right things, looking after them when they need to, that you do. You know, you need to look after the players, pushing them, trying to get them as fit as we can. You know, the lower you go in the leagues, you know, it's very, very physical. You need to be fit to play in the leagues. And if you can bring the football on top of that, that's great. But it's a lot of physical things, especially when winter arrives. Probably the pitches not going to be as good as we want to be.
Do you focus more on the physical side of it, or the style of player?
No, we focus on everything. Pre-season was hard for them. The football style we want to play is probably different than the style they played last season. We want to try to, like, be a team that we keep the ball more, then just going direct, just build up, and then create spaces. And yes, when we have time and space, just being aggressive to go forward. And I think the players understanding that. We've been playing some good football. Sometimes we have possession, a low possession in our half. That is good, but you need to be aggressive, don't you? You need to score goals. It's good to have the ball on your half when you're winning games, but look, we only been there for 8 weeks, so we're still working with the team and, you know, changing things around. But I think the players start to believe that what they're capable to do, and they're getting confident on the ball, and we got some good players in the team.
Good start as well, really. 3 points off top.
Yeah, we can't complain. New league against new teams, different standards. Obviously, the higher you go in the leagues, the harder it gets. You're gonna play against bad teams, bad players. But yeah, it's been good. 4 wins. We got beat last night against a good team, Skonto. They were good. They were really good, to be honest. But yeah, 3 points away from the top, so can't complain.
Would South Shields sell players? If you've got a player who one of your better players, and Sunderland come in for him, are you a club that would say, right, fair enough, go and crack on?
Well, I mean, it's not up to me that. I think if the opportunity presented, the club will have to decide. Ideally, you want to keep your best players in your team, don't you? But I'm a person that, if opportunity present for a player and that will open a door for a player to go and progress in the football career, I will just say, off you go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because some of the players are 19, 20, 21. And, if a team from League 2, League 1 come, just go, and do well. And then you back to the circle of recruitment and other players and, go back on that. That is not easy, it's hard work because you need to spend a lot of time, watching videos, reading stuff about players. But look, I want to stop myself personally, put a barrier on players if they can't progress in their career. I think it'd be unfair.
Could you lean on Mowbray for players? Young lads at Sunderland coming through, could you take them on loan?
You could do. The thing is, with players, when you bring players from the academy, ideally you want to bring and play them because that's what they're coming to you for. If you're going to bring them and put them in the bench and play 10, 15 minutes, that doesn't do anything for you. It doesn't do anything for them,
They're a different breed now, though, aren't they? They're not ready, are they?
Well, some of them...
If you play 21s, 23s football, 18s football, you're not ready.
Yeah.
Most aren't, anyway.
Yeah.
But how do you get ready? Is that the dilemma?
I think the whole system's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
The whole 23 system's a problem.
I'm more a fan of going back to the reserves.
Yeah.
Like when we have the reserves, you play against Mans.
Yeah.
People fighting for this.
You could play against some of the lads
players.
that don't play in the first team, go back and play in the reserves, like I did, and probably some of you did.
Fighting for something.
And then you more or less keep yourself fit, because if you're not playing here, you're playing there, and when you need to get back in the first team, you're more or less ready.
But you're playing against men and experienced players, experienced footballers.
You could be a young centre back and playing against someone really experienced, and then you learn more of that than playing against someone in your own age. Definitely. But
because I suppose them 23s are fighting for a place in the first team, but you're not gaining that experience from the experienced lads.
The old reserve was like a hybrid because you'd play against men, and it would be physical, and so even though it's not a competitive fixture where there's thousands of people there or whatever, it's kind of you're testing the water, you're dipping your toe in a little bit. When now it just feels like you're having to keep the ball and they're scared to tackle each other. You're not getting a bollocking from your manager. When
you see them older players do something and you're like, that you're not, because of their experience, you're like, oh, wow, there'd be a step back. You'd see things that you wouldn't see just playing with the lads.
I think it all depends on the character of players, Yeah. I mean, South Shields have a few players that came to Sunderland, from Sunderland, sorry. Bolly Momba is a young player. He decided to go for Sunderland to South Shields, down in the leagues, have a right going there, and then went from South Shields, Sunderland, Norwich, I think it's Portsmouth now? Plymouth. So something you have to go down to jump back on. But some players don't. Some players don't want to know about that. Some players they think, no, I'd rather be here,
comfortable.
It's a pride thing.
And then again, it's just mentality.
Pride, like you said.
Yeah. So
I can remember playing at 17 for Barnsley reserves against Newcastle, and I was playing against international footballers.
Yeah.
At 17.
International centre halves.
Yeah.
It's not happening now, is it?
No.
We've heard a lot of stories over the years, dressing room antics, that British humour. initiations and all that. Was there anything when you come over from South America, we talk about that British humour, that you've been in dressing room and you're like, what the hell have I come to here?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing I always say is like every time we have a meeting with Peter Reid and Bobby Saxton, obviously at the beginning I could not understand what they were saying, and then when I started speaking a bit English, I mean, it was hard to understand Peter Reid, but you don't want to know how hard it was to understand Bobby Saxton. It was just like one of them. I mean, it probably was hard for you to understand. So for me, coming from the other side of the world to understand Bobby, it was really, really hard. It was just some of the things. As I say, luckily in a football changing room, it's always a board there. But I mean, humor, it's just different cultures, probably was something funny for the English lad. It's not funny for me. I don't know,
Right, in Argentina, would you get people pissed on him? Mum, he's just pissed on it, lads.
Yeah, someone probably come back, having a,
in Argentina, would you get anybody snipping ties and shitting in wash bags and stuff like that? Is that the same kind of
humour? No, I don't
humour?
think they go that far. No, they don't go that far over there. That's what I mean, like, when you come here and...
do you remember the first time seeing stuff like that and thinking?
No, I remember like once, but again, for some of the lads it was funny, but for me it wasn't that funny, So Gary Breen, I don't know if you were there, he cut everyone's on the pants, or the majority of the lads, he went like through everyone, and he cut them off, and they were like laughing, like, some of the lads were angry, and I'm thinking like, what the hell are you doing that for? It wasn't funny for me. He said, if you do that to me, I would be really upset.
I think that was retaliation. I think somebody had done something to Brini, so he just took everybody down.
Yeah, and he took everyone.
Yeah.
Luckily, I was there in the changing room that day, so I saw him doing it, and I asked him, "What are you doing that for? It's not even funny, man." I said, "Well, I just took everyone in the same bag."
Did you get your underpants?
It's just like going with the sisters, cutting every one of them.
By the way, one of Harvey Mick's best customers as well, Julio. Remember Mickey Holland's Louis Vuitton? The wash bags and that. You were 3 times a week you were in his office.
There was few lads in there. Come to my office. He had this little desk in there.
The watches.
We have this guy that used to look after us, doing all the massages in there, and used to bring all these fake watches and fake bags, and you have everything there. I don't even want to go in details, But
we just handed the money over and walked out.
Yeah, it was. To be honest, we have some good some good characters in there. I mean, we were talking about Sean Thornton before, Chef Willie.
Yeah,
they were good characters in there. Funny lads,
Funny to us, but not funny to you.
Weirdos too.
At that time, I more or less...
You got used to it?
Yeah, I got used to that. So it was 5 years being in UK. So, but yeah, they were good. I mean, sometimes they talk probably too far. You could smell the alcohol in the morning. Some of them, arriving in the training ground. That, everyone do their own thing, But, if seeing something like that happen now, I think footballers will go, what are you doing, man? You're not allowed to do that. Well, before, it was more or less normal.
Can be your first Christmas do?
Christmas do. Christmas do with the lads. Well, the first 3 or 4, I didn't turn up, because obviously I wasn't comfortable being there. We don't know, like. And then we went a few times with the lads. I think we went to Dublin once. Yeah. But again, they could drink a lot. But after a few pints, I was gone. I was just like, I couldn't take it. They could go on and on and on. I'm thinking how much they can drink, these lads. But we didn't really have like any bad nights, if you know what I mean. Any fights that I remember. Yes, the lads used to like get drunk and stuff like that. But always was good banter,
I've ever told when I think it was on one of the Dublin trips, someone's put a Johnny on my shoulder. And I must have been there all day. I did not have a clue.
Nobody told
I'm
you.
assuming it'll have been
Weren't full, were it?
Jeff,
Well, it probably was one of them.
Jeff
Yeah.
Whitley or something, but I was only
Yeah.
18, 19 and
Just
did
resting.
not have a clue. You put a Johnny on your shoulder and you won't know it's there. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I'm probably 10-hour shift of a condom on my shoulder.
Wow.
See, I like childish. It's like, we're laughing here as 40-year-old men and that. We're laughing.
Oh, me. Well, Julio, good luck for the rest of the
Yeah,
season.
all
mate.
the best for it, man. Thank
Brilliant.
you very
Appreciate
much.
you coming on.
Thank
Thanks
you.
very much for
Thanks so
coming.
much.
Thanks very much.
Brilliant.
Corduroy.
Like it?
I do actually.
Yeah.
Unlike
job.
you, but I like it.
And as fits.
Well, it's very oversized.
Yeah.
But
It is a little bit big.
Tight.
I think it's too big.
Yeah?
Yeah.
See, I would say that fits.
Yeah.
Is it a recent purchase or is it?
Yeah, it's a recent.
I like it.
Yeah.
For your 40th
Thanks.
birthday, which has just been and passed.
Yeah, it does, unfortunately.
Do you feel any
Getting
different?
old. Yeah. I'm getting up at night for a piss twice. So I'll come at once.
Or twice.
We're good.
Yeah, very good.
Julio Arca. Enjoy it.
Yeah.
Our
some
first
player,
Spanish guest, Argentinian guest. Our
Do tell them about the. Obviously, we had the gastronomical.
Yeah.
If anybody that listened to the last intro,
We've just had
John
Leroy on, who's from Dr. Congo.
and he got up to a lot of promiscuous things.
Is it not Dr. Congo?
Dominican Republic of Congo.
Doctor. It's Dr. Congo, isn't it?
Dr. Congo?
Yeah.
But I think you meant presumptuous, didn't you?
I meant you were being very presumptuous when I said promiscuous.
Promiscuous.
It's obviously got
I
totally
think just
different.
stick to what you know, John.
Yeah.
different.
Do you know what, Chris? On the way down here, we were talking about a manager. He tries to say too many long words for me. He tries to complicate it.
Yeah.
And then,
Stick to what I know.
Yeah. Stick to the basics.
Promiscuous. Fucking hell, fire. That was very promiscuous from the manager, weren't it? Fucking hell.
I hope everybody's well.
Yeah.
I enjoyed Julio.
some player.
Yeah.
Can you remember much about him?
Yeah, I can remember him playing. I can't remember, like, obviously as much as you will, but I can remember him playing, just gliding.
Mm-hmm. He was better using his studs to control the ball than I was at anything.
Really?
I've seen you know that
Not
one
even
where
shagging.
I've seen him.
Oh, well. We'll get onto that.
Maybe not.
Do you know that one when the defender comes running in? He'll just roll it through the legs and get it the other side.
Just a little wisp on
Just
top.
a little one of them. See you later.
I can imagine him being quite frustrated to play against then.
Yeah,
Was-
dragging the ball back. And
So while you were at Sunderland, was he like the best? The best around,
especially
like the one that you
when I
look-
played with him. He was.
Yeah.
Well, that's why he left. He was too good for us at that level. But even when he first came, his goal that we spoke about on his debut.
Yeah.
Beautiful man and all, isn't he?
Yeah,
I like
yeah.
the tone of his voice is beautiful.
I didn't sense a twang, a northeast
I know.
twang. I was hoping for one, like a mid-Argentine, South
Julio
American,
Jordio.
yeah, Julio Jordio. We didn't quite, not quite there, which is surprising considering he's been here for so long.
Yeah, what's he been here? What's been here 20 odd years,
Yeah,
isn't it?
he was 18 when he said.
You also pick it up, don't you?
Why aye?
On
Hey.
that,
Go on.
whenever he's like up north or around his dad or speaking to his mum or on phone,
Oh, like,
his accent changes. Like,
Does.
yeah, come straight back. I think before I've spoke to you up phone now, so have you been back up to your mum's this weekend? Twang's back thick.
But I've got is it a request or is it a question? Because obviously we had my dad on, didn't we?
Yeah,
And I think we should put it out for the masses.
as a regular.
Yeah, we had it on Patreon, but I don't know how
It's a
the
good.
hierarchy.
I was laughing all over again listening back to it.
Yeah.
For the edit.
Because I didn't. I was a bit nervous for it. He was
Yeah.
shitting himself anyway, lack of sleep and all that. So I didn't really enjoy it at the time. It was only when I watched it back.
What was he like afterwards? Did he forget anything? And
He said he woke up middle of the night with 2 stories that he forgot to tell.
He forgot to turn his script over. That's what his problem. He needs to turn it over, bless him.
He did get confused a bit when asking questions. Basically, we could have just sat down and just told us his
I know.
career.
And I
He's
think
like,
that
we're going off the script here.
That's why I couldn't really enjoy it, because I knew that if I asked
He's on
anything,
edge.
his eyes would just go and he'd be looking down at the thingy. But he was...
He's brilliant.
I'm glad it came across well, because, if he gets invited to reunions or something with lads that he played with, he never used to go. It was like a inferior complex.
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Would you say? He's like, I don't want anything to do with that. And unless he's in fancy dress.
then he's away.
Unless he's got a thong on wing,
Unless he's out.
But then, since that, I think it's just given him a bit of, like...
Bit of confidence, a bit of a boost.
Yeah, he's
that's good.
signed up
I'll
for
tell
his
you what.
first Q&A.
Has he?
Yeah.
Has he really?
Yes, he's changed.
Fucking be on the circuit,
Changing
Sean.
lives.
Like fucking Manning.
He's doing one with Lee Howie in November.
Changed man.
I've got loads of stories. So I'll be on, I'm a celebrity, get me out of here next. He
He won't
says.
sleep for a week now. He didn't sleep before sitting down with us, did he?
It's a different ball game, I bet, though. But I'm saying it's a different, if once he's up there with a mic,
On stage.
room full of people.
He'll just have to...
I haven't said that to him, like, that's like, good luck there. You'll smash it.
Just get on and just piss his head. Like, just freeze and piss his head.
No, he'll do brilliant. Hey, we've had our Wrexham guest confirmed.
Yes, Glenn
think it's-
Little.
Glenn Little, tickets are available. It's out.
In my top 5, Glenn and all.
It's on.
Believe it or not, people.
Never ending top 5.
No, but incredible episode, Glenn's.
Yeah.
2, was it 2? I can't remember.
No, one.
What was it?
Yeah, I think pretty sure one. Yeah, but that's on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook and all that jazz.
See you in Wrexham. Apparently,
wanna get
them actors are coming.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, I've messaged someone and apparently they can't wait to come.
All right,
Brilliant.
That's a bit of a scoop, isn't it?
So we go in as Marvel.
Oh,
We're just going to be sat there as Marvel, us 3.
what's like? How do we dress as Marvel?
I'm thinking of them. Is Spider-Man Marvel?
Spider-Man.
Yeah, so you're Spider-Man. I'm going to be Superman. And you're going to be She-Ra.
Yeah.
She-Ra? Who's She-Ra?
What?
No, I didn't mean Marvel.
She-Ra.
She-Ra
No,
or
She-Ra's
He-Man?
not Marvel, but we'll
right.
go with it. We'll go with it.
So yes, you're in Wrexham, hopefully.
Yeah. And we've got the guests coming out very soon for Norwich and
Norwich is out. You and Roberts.
yeah, but on the big reveal.
Poster.
Yeah, on the posters and everything. Barnes.
It's not official until the posters are.
No. But the links and everything will be there.
Yeah.
So that's good. Anything else? Any more business?
Not from me.
Is this a change in image? Going back to your call, Roy. Is it
I
a
don't think
change?
this is a change in image.
I've never seen you in one of them.
No.
Oh,
It's not green for a
what's
start.
underneath?
See if you can you work it out?
Adamant?
Can you work it out?
Is it adamant?
Talking to Glenn Little. Could be in there, couldn't it?
I thought there were a green one on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
No. Leonardo da Vinci.
Oh, so
Raphael.
is it Teenage Mutant Ninja
It is a
Turtle
Teenage
theme?
Mutant Ninja Turtle. Can you see?
They're not green.
Cryptic.
Michelangelo, Donatello, Raphael, and Leonardo.
So,
Mint, love
new
it.
image.
Yeah.
New watch.
New watch as well, yeah. So, it's good, isn't it?
Now you've got the 40, you're a different man.
I don't think this is any different than usual, is it?
I'm in
Come
your
on,
head again.
let's get it. Let's get him in.
His head's gone again.
It's the end, isn't it?
Come on then, let's
Go
pack
home.
up and
Let's
fuck
go
off
home.
Got a train to catch.
Yeah.